So I'm Yo-Yo-Yoshi1, and I'm going to be the one who's commentating this match. So far, they're just doing some practice matches before we get started. This is the playoff for Division 2. These are two of the very best Mario Kart 64 players in the world. I've gone ahead and put their rankings there. And I'm just wrapping up setting this up myself so that we are ready to go. Oh, you're 38. Thanks for that. I didn't actually even notice that. I'll go ahead and fix that. So how one-try league matches work is as follows. It's going to be a best out of 7. Both racers are going to go ahead and have a chance to race against each other to have the fastest time. They only get one try. And ultimately, it's going to be a best out of 5 sets. And the winner wins this match. It's a playoff match. Got a big match as both racers have played quite a few tracks at this point over the years, as well as in this league. MF has that Mario plushie for when he plays Mario Raceway. I'm going to go ahead and communicate with both of them so that we're all on the same page as we get things started. So the Division 2 one-try league had some interesting matches. MF had actually gone 6-0 during the regular season, heading into the playoffs. Gianni had gone 5-1. Both of them were very sharp. They won most of their sets and, of course, most of their matches. MF had actually gone 18-5. Gianni had gone 17-4 in the sets. So they played, even though MF won the regular season match, they're very evenly matched. Just coordinating with MF and Gianni so that they can be on the same page on track picks. We are running a little bit behind, sorry guys. Certainly, Slim, absolutely. We're going to have a really good match. We're just running into some slight technical difficulties as we coordinate the start of this match. Give us a few more minutes, guys. How does this sound? Does this sound better, Kelp? Excellent. I can probably change it a little bit more, so more like this. All right, so MF, I believe, is getting ready. Gianni, I believe, is ready. Thank you, Kelp. And this really promises to be an exciting match. They've been very evenly matched. And while MF won previously, in terms of sets, in terms of tracks won up to this point, it's been very, very close. MF will end up having the first pick as the lower rank player during the regular on the Mario Kart 64 time trials non-shortcut rankings, even though he did win an extra match during the regular season. So in case anyone wants to figure out the rules, I'm going to go ahead and actually share the link to the rules. It is for a previous season in terms of the standings there, but basically it's one match, two players play each other one-on-one in time trial mode. Only one single try per selected track. You can't pause, you can't use ghosts, there's no warming up, you go when both players are ready. 1 point for each win. It is best of 3 sets, or best of 5 sets, sorry. Winning 3 of the 5. And each set is first to 4 track wins. Each player gets to pick from their own pool of the 16 tracks. And the 16 tracks get reset for the pools after 2 sets. Track which has been played cannot be chosen again in the same set. So, MF wants to choose Royal Raceway, and they're going to be getting ready to get started. All right, so let's get going. 3, 2, 1, go. So both drivers are very solid. MF's speed is slightly ahead, but MF is getting in some good semi-straight or straight stretch mini turbos, as both of them are off to a solid start here. Getting good mini turbos, getting that good cut across the grass there. Classic mushroom cut across the grass there before the ramp. Not a whole lot of mistakes by either drivers right now. It looks very even. Both drivers are going to go ahead and take this cut across the grass near the finish line because it does cut a bit of track. 58.35 for MF to start. And we've got 58.73 for Gianni, very slightly behind MF. Both drivers appear to be using the 1 mushroom per track, or per lap. It looks like there aren't really going to be a whole lot of mistakes on Royal Raceway early. It's going to be a matter of who drives slightly better than the other one. Both drivers have decided that Toad is the best driver, as Toad always reminds us. Nice 57.94 lap by MF. Gianni with a 58.15, so MF is up by a little bit as we go into the final lap. He barely gets past the wall, but he does get over. So we're going to have to see if Gianni can make up any ground. It's not looking like that's happening at this moment. MF does avoid making a mistake with that wall. Solid driving all around for MF. Gianni's still pretty good, just slightly slower. And that may mean that MF is going to take this one. MF has a 254.26 and a 255.07 for Gianni. So something to point out here, both drivers are driving on the PAL version of the game. That's the European version. It does run a bit slower than the NTSC version that people will be used to from North America. And that's because the PAL version, after a conversion to NTSC times, runs a little bit, in a sense, a little bit faster. there's slightly more time to respond. So MF picked Royal Raceway before. Mario Raceway is going to be Gianni's pick. MF says he needs a minute, so we're going to go ahead and give him a minute. In the meantime, this stream has been sponsored by. We have a few sponsors here. We have, first of all, Kung Fu Lakitu, which is coming spring 2015. Dragon Driftway the movie. So MF is ready now. All right, so 3, 2, 1, go. We're going to head to Mario Raceway, one of the shorter tracks and certainly one with a lot of turns. Now you're going to notice on this track that there is an actual ghost. That is just the staff ghost, which is Mario from Nintendo. So neither driver is actually using one of the ghosts of their own off of a controller pack. This is going to be the Mushroom Gap. It looks like MF does struggle a little bit, does get through it. The Mushroom Gap is going to play a big role in who... Oh, and Gianni gets stuck with the mushroom, which gives MF the big lead here early. Gianni's in trouble as MF takes off to a solid lead. The Mushroom Gap is a high-level strategy in Mario Kart 64, and the fastest route through is through the Mushroom Gap, so both drivers, knowing that the other is, solid at this game, they have to take that gap every time. And unfortunately for Gianni, he missed the first one. Let's see how he does on the second. He does clear it comfortably on the second. But it looks like MF is off to a fairly large lead at this point. And barring any major mistakes by MF, he's going to win. He does clear it all 3 times, so it really looks like MF is going to be the winner on this track. Both of them using the mushroom at the end, which is a great way to cut across the track. Solid 1:30.94 for MF. $1:37.00 for Gianni. Gianni did fine on the last 2 laps, just struggled on that lap 1 gap, and here we have MF is up 2-0. MF's cat blocked the screen for 10 seconds and somehow he still won. So it's back to MF's pick as we go to the 3rd track of the set. MF is going to go with Sherbet Land, which is going to be a real interesting one because Sherbet Land requires the drivers to jump across gaps to go the fastest route, and if they make a mistake, well, that's going to be a problem for both drivers. 3, 2, 1, go. The key to this one, making those gaps and making them well. So you're going to start seeing MF make some gaps, jumps here. And you will see that from both drivers as they try to straighten out on this course. This course does have weird turns that are not really 90-degree turns. So the gap jumps are going to make a difference, as well as these penguins. MF comfortably clears the penguins. Gianni's stream is slightly behind, but he does hit a penguin, so MF takes a solid start here. Big mistake for Gianni early in lap 1. Otherwise, good jumps across the gaps by both drivers. MF safely clears the penguins in the cave on lap 2. The penguins run on a bit of a timer, so they are not in the same spot every lap. MF with 2 solid laps. Gianni's going to probably need to see MF make a mistake here on lap 3. But otherwise, a pretty decent lap for Gianni as well. MF does bonk the wall, but only loses a little bit of speed as he gets through the lap 3 cave. So one of the things with the runners is they will generally record these on capture cards in case, for example, they get a good fast lap time in time trials, and then they bonk a penguin or something on the later laps. Sherbetland MF with a solid win. Took advantage of the mistake by Gianni. It's 3-0. Kind of a rough start for Gianni, but keep in mind, this is a best of 5 sets. So even if he loses this one, he still has a chance to come back with a better set next time. But for now, MF has Gianni behind 3-0 on the first set. MF only needs one more. He's going to pick Choco Mountain. 3, 2, 1, go. MF is actually going to save his mushroom for later, which is interesting. We'll see what Gianni does with the mushroom spot, if he's gonna go ahead and also save it. The interesting thing about this track are the rocks, the boulders that fall. They do sort of fall in kind of that middle section here, and both drivers will want to make sure they avoid hitting that, as well as any wall bonks that are going to slow them down completely. But as it stands now, in lap 1, it's fairly close. I think Gianni was actually slightly ahead on lap 1. MF does clear the boulders, and neither driver has hit a wall, which is very consistent for both drivers. They are two of the most consistent drivers in Mario Kart 64. There's a 39.28 lap for MF. And Gianni goes a little bit slower, so it's pretty close in lap 3. As the two Toads line up for a solid finish on lap 3. MF does well with getting close to the wall there, but not hitting it. Same thing with Gianni. MF is going to end on a 1:57.70. This is going to be really close, guys. And it looks like MF did get back and win this, primarily because he just had slightly better laps. 1:57.70, 1:58.26. So MF takes the set. So set 1 is complete. Gianni is going to get the first pick in set 2. Gianni is going to go Calamari Desert as the first pick in the second set. MF is ready. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Calamari Desert, of course, is a very interesting track because there is a train that runs through the track. So it's going to be a matter of the drivers avoiding the train, or if they are skilled enough driving through the train on the train track. So the first part is going to be how they take the hill hops. Both drivers did so splendidly. Next part is going to be cutting across here because this section is actually going to be a favorable cut for both drivers rather than going all the way around on the track. Gianni's actually already used 2 mushrooms. MF decided to just only use 1. MF has a 42.11, 41.20 for Gianni, but keeping in mind Gianni's used 1 more mushroom. We're heading into lap 2. The MF comfortably and Gianni comfortably beats the train. MF cuts across. It looks like there is a temporary streaming issue perhaps on Gianni's stream. In the meantime, MF has a pretty solid second lap as well, 42.19. It is, I believe, slightly slower than his first. Not really sure what happened with the other, sorry guys, I'm not really sure what happened with the other stream, but let's see if it loads up again. I think Gianni's stream may have cut out. I'm going to take a look. In the meantime, MF is going to complete it in a 2:06.91. So what we're doing right now is actually hosting 2 streams at the same time. It looked like Gianni's stream did probably go down. But a pretty solid time for MF. So kind of a weird situation there. Something we haven't seen before. his internet ended up crashing during that race, unfortunately. But MF had a 2:06.91, 2:07.11 for Gianni. So in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and put in the score as Gianni tries to get his stream back on. It's one of those unfortunate things that just happens sometimes. So while Gianni's getting his stream back on, we have another sponsor for this stream, and the sponsor is Roy Smooth Sounds. Listen to Roy jam. Okay, it looks like Gianni is trying to get his stream back on, and it may be back. Looks like it is back. So we are back in business. So MF is going to go ahead and pick Bowser's Castle. He says, no risk, no fun. So the interesting thing about Bowser's Castle is the thwomps, they're on a set pattern, but if either of them hit a thwomp, that is going to ruin their muscle memory on how they're going to play the track. 3, 2, 1, go. There's also a very narrow bridge after the thwomps, and there's also an interesting stairway that they have to take pretty well to get a cut through the courtyard. So the optimal path, mushroom across the first courtyard as they head into the thwomp section. Gianni does nick the side, but it doesn't actually slow him down too much, so it could have been worse. Both of them clear the bridge okay. The stairway, Gianni and MF clear it really well. They cut across the grass. And they're off to the final stretch, which doesn't pose as many obstacles. Gianni with a 45.90, MF 45.30, likely lead from not nicking the side of the thwomp earlier. Nice cuts for both drivers. Both of them avoid the thwomps in the first room. In the next room, both of them safely clear the thwomps, safely go over the bridge, and both of them take very nice cuts in the courtyard area. Both of them are, of course, trying to get those mini turbos even on straightaways to try to get any advantage they can get. MF with a very slightly slower second lap, but remains slightly ahead of Gianni. Oh, thwomp hit for Gianni. MF clears it. Gianni's gotten flattened by the thwomp. And that's going to cost him about 10 seconds in the race here, as MF takes it very comfortably through the courtyard section. As it looks like MF has been the more consistent driver today, as he's going to take a 2-0 lead here in the second set. 2:15.56. 2:27.05. That is unfortunate for Gianni to get squashed by the thwomp, as MF is off to a very hot start. Thwomp, 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 thwomp. 2 thwomp hits and the squash. So it should be Gianni's pick again. He had lost this first set, which meant he got the first pick. So he's going to get alternating picks, first, third, fifth, if it gets there, and seventh. Luigi Raceway from Gianni. Now, Luigi Raceway is a relatively straightforward track. A lot of left turns. And a few rights. It's almost like NASCAR. Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. There is a section where you turn right as you go in and out of a tunnel. And there will be sections where on the second lap, both drivers are going to be trying to cut across the grass with the mushroom. But what you're going to be seeing a lot of is mini turbos on straightaways to get that speed boost. Whoever is the more technically savvy driver is going to win this one. It could be very, very close if neither of them makes any mistakes. Gianni is going to go ahead and try to get the bonk for the speed boost. And MF is just going to hold on, and he's going to hold on to the mushrooms for a later lap. 39.83, 41.01 for MF. Not much to say here, just a lot of good mini turboing by both drivers. Slight slowdown by MF as he hit that wall there. Gianni's going to try to get the boost. Oh, he's going to go ahead and just use 2 mushrooms there. MF is the one who now does Gianni's tactic from lap 1. Now this gets interesting because MF is behind, but he still has 2 mushrooms. So he's likely to do what Gianni just did, except on lap 3. The interesting thing about this game is if you bump against the wall, you don't always lose your speed. It depends on the angle that you hit it. MF is going to go ahead and use his 2 shrooms. He cuts very close to the wall. Gianni's going to finish with a 159.32, 159.80 for MF. Gianni finally picks up a win. Much needed win for him. As he tries to come back in this playoff match. Exciting finish there. It looks like the main difference here was a particularly strong no mushroom lap for Gianni in lap 3 as compared to MF on lap 1. MF wants to go to Warrior Stadium, the second longest track in the game. The only track that's never been remade in a future Mario Kart game. Probably because there's so many walls that can be jumped over on this track. 3, 2, 1, go. But of course, both drivers will not be able to jump over the many, many walls in this game. This is played by non-shortcut rules. They're going to have to drive all the way like everyone else. Both of them trying to get the mini turbo off of the bumps at the beginning. Nicely played on one of the turns that can trip people up for both drivers. Again, a lot of mini turboing on stretches that normal drivers wouldn't dare do, but they're executing very well. Heading to the big jump. MF looks to be very, very slightly ahead at the big jump. As MF takes roughly a 1 second lead. For all our new viewers, this is played on PAL. This is the European version of Mario Kart 64. So the times you see will be a little slower than what you see on the North American version. But rest assured, there is a lot of skill involved in playing either version of the game. And they are showing that they're among the best drivers in Mario Kart 64. Looks like MF is probably still about a second ahead of Gianni, as we are about halfway now. MF's driving is just very slightly better, and it's adding up over the course of the second longest track in the game. MF is now ahead by, I think it's about a 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds on Gianni. As both of them try to race to get those straightaway mini turbos in. No skips are allowed in a one-try league match, with one exception. Both drivers can pick a track where shortcuts are allowed, but they only get to use it once. It's called a shortcut joker pick. And neither driver has decided to use that joker pick yet. MF takes a weird jump off there, so he may have lost a little time relative to Gianni. But it looks like MF is still actually probably about 2 seconds ahead. Just slightly crisper driving across the turns. Let's see if MF can hold the lead here as we head into the very final turn of the game. Looks like he is going to hold it, and it looks like he is going to win it here for 26-31. And Gianni just has given up, apparently. As he knows that he has fallen behind in this one, and he's going to go ahead and just finish normally. So I believe he decided to do a reset just so that he has a clean cartridge for times that he sets. But in the meantime, MF is up 3-1. Gianni has the next pick. Gianni has to win 3 in a row to win the set, or else MF is going to go up 2-0 in sets. Yoshi Valley, Gianni going for a fun pick for viewers because Yoshi Valley has a lot of interesting twists and turns and porcupines. So both are ready. We're going to go ahead and start. 3, 2, 1, go. So Yoshi Valley is interesting in two respects. The first is a maze. There are not a whole lot of tracks in the Mario Kart series with a maze. What's the fastest way to go around? There's generally a safe way where you go to the right, but I imagine both drivers are probably going to go through the porcupine path on the left, which they are opting to do, and is the far more dangerous path. Now, what is allowed in the One Try League in non-shortcut is this jump you're going to see both drivers make. It's called the hairpin turn. We believe that it was intended by Nintendo as a non-shortcut route across because of the elevation difference. But currently, through lap 1, both drivers are in a really solid spot. It looks like Gianni's going to try to use the kind of a newer strategy by just going all the way, where the fence is and just staying very close to it rather than going through the tracks area. MF is going to play that slightly safer. Gianni's attempt worked out pretty oh, and MF falls off. Gianni's off to a big lead now, and if he can probably make that last hairpin jump, I believe Gianni's actually going to take this win. MF almost falls off again. Gianni's going to go ahead and continue trying to use the new strategy. It looks like it is working decently well for him. He's going to take that, porcupine path again. He does hit one of the porcupines. It is very difficult to go through that and avoid the basically 6 porcupine patches. So, but in any case, Gianni did clearly make the hairpin. He is in great shape to win. He's just going to go ahead and drive as close to the fence as possible, and he's going to claim the win here. 146.46. As the more consistent driver on the hairpin, he's going to go ahead and take this win. Much needed win for Gianni, as he was facing elimination in this set. Solid pick by him as he goes ahead and cuts the deficit 3-2. MF is taking a little breather before he picks his next track, I'm sure. In the meantime, as we wait for the track pick, we have another sponsor for this stream. And it is Shy Guy Medals since 1987. Get your medals there. And for anyone who is interested in anyone's streams here in the future, I put everyone's names as they are. Gianni MK64 is Gianni's stream. MK64MF is MF's. And mine is Yo-Yo Yoshi 1. Frappe Snowland, both are ready. 3, 2, 1, go. This is going to be interesting because of a relatively new strategy that came out 2 years ago, and whether or not either driver is going to be willing to take that risky path and take kind of the mushroom spot, which will be to the left of where Gianni is. It looks like that may end up being more of a desperation pick for anyone because of how difficult that trick is. In the meantime, gotta avoid the snowman, gotta make this jump as crisply as possible and avoid the snowman off the jump. Both of them do so very well as we head into kind of the tunnel-y section at the end. Gianni has opted to choose Yoshi figuring maybe that the dinosaur will bring a little bit more luck. They have exactly 4103 times in lap 1, exactly tied. Both of them driving very well. No mistakes by either driver to date. The second jump, barely avoiding snowmen for both of them, but both of them do avoid snowmen on the jump down. That is the optimal mushroom path for normal play. There is a more advanced and way more difficult mushroom spot that it doesn't look like either of them really needs the risk, as both of them are still very close heading into lap 3. Practically even as we head into the snowfield section. Both of them clear nicely. This is going to go down to the wire. This could be a photo finish. (202.73), 202.18. MF did gain at the end, and he's going to claim the set. Both drivers drive well, but MF ultimately drives a little bit better and takes Frappe Snowland, and he is going to go up 2-0 in sets. So Gianni's going to have to win 3 sets in a row to come back in this one. So now that 2 sets are through, the picks reset as the drivers are able to pick again. That's correct for the most part. Major shortcuts are not allowed, with one exception. For one track choice, the driver is allowed to pick a shortcut track, and neither driver has decided to do that as of yet. Gianni wants to go back to Luigi Raceway. 3, 2, 1, go. The other choice that the drivers get is they can pick as one of their picks a 1 lap time as the category for competition. Neither driver is elected to do that as of this point. Again, Luigi Raceway is all about as smooth driving as you can really take it. The turns are simple enough. The straightaways are straight enough. Gianni again is going to go for the speed boost off the bonk off the wall, which is a really advanced technique. He's going to go at 39.82, 39.94 for MF, very close. Both of them used 1 shroom on the first lap. So there is no reverse Toad's Turnpike fast lap for time trial, so it's not going to be one of those picks. Gianni's going to go ahead and use his 2 shroom lap on lap 2. 38.90, 40.99 for MF. But he still has 2 shrooms, so again, this is a lot closer than the time may look because of the 2 shrooms that are left. MF riding very close to the wall to try to eke any advantage he can get. MF is going to go ahead and use his 2 shrooms here, very close to the wall. One last mini turbo for both of them. 159.35 for Gianni, 159.64 for MF. A big win for Gianni here. I believe Gianni may have won Luigi Raceway before even, and it appears to have been a good pick for him again. MF is going to get his pick now. MF with the Chaos pick, Bowser's Castle. Worked out for him before. He's going to do it again. Gianni is ready. 3, 2, 1, go. Gianni's got to be thinking, hey, it's going to be better this time. That had been a rough 3-lap for Gianni before, but hope springs eternal here. Fairly clean mushroom spot for both of them. Oh, but Gianni gets flattened again as MF takes a lead by virtue of not hitting any thwomps. So pretty sizable advantage for MF at this point, probably about 11 or 12 seconds. As MF is going to finish the lap at a 45.25. Gianni did make up some ground, so maybe not quite that much. 53.38, so it's an 8-second difference. Because it was just a flatten without the crash beforehand. Solid cuts by MF as Gianni does hit a thwomp, and now he most certainly would be behind by about 10 or 11 seconds now. MF just driving very consistently in one of the most chaotic tracks in Mario Kart, in any Mario Kart game. In fact, he went even faster, going 44.95 on this lap. Although he takes a weird turn here. So I believe it's now an 11-second, probably a 10-second difference. 10 to 11 seconds. As MF just has to keep clearing the course. Wow, Gianni nearly got hit by another thwomp there. Very close to getting squashed. Very nice, very nicely played by MF, as MF is going to clear this by quite a large margin here with 2:16.51. In comparison, Gianni is going to finish with a 2:27.49. Oh, 2:27.49. Gianni gets the pick again. Both drivers have been picking really good tracks for themselves in this third set. And MF has just been the more consistent driver today. Mario Raceway, says Gianni, is going to be the next pick. MF is ready. 3, 2, 1. Let's go back to Mario Raceway. Again, we're looking at a track with lots of twists and turns. Mushroom gap is again going to be the key. MF clears it, and Gianni clears it perfectly this time. We're going to go and do the mushroom cut now. Both drivers are going to cut across the grass and the sand here. Both of them are going to take the grass cut here too, which is a little tricky, but both of them manage okay. Second mushroom gap, both of them clear that quite well as well. That's a very difficult gap to hit consistently, to do so on all 3 laps. Again, cut across the grass. We've got MF at a very slightly faster lap. Oh, and Gianni gets stuck with the mushroom gap. MF is off to the races. MF is going to go ahead and cleanly make these last turns, and he's going to go ahead and win this track. He's going to go up 2-1 in this set. 129.34 to 134.44. So it's going to be MF's pick again. MF is in the driver's seat. He's up 2-0 in sets. He's up 2-1 in tracks. And he gets the next pick. MF wants to go back to Royal Raceway. Seems like neither of the 2 drivers are super interested in doing shortcut for one of their Joker tracks. 3, 2, 1, go. No jokers here, just standard driving, non-shortcut, 3 laps. Great cuts by both of them in a stretch where if you're going for a personal record or going for a world record, you might really cut it tight. Both of them get a straight stretch mini turbo in, and then they go for the mushroom cut there. Gianni decides to get in an extra SSMT, straight stretch mini turbo. Both of them play it a little safely, rather than going the more optimal, more difficult route, as both of them are very close through lap 1. Again, still very close by both of them. Certainly a minor mistake could cost either of them the race because of how close it is. As we head into lap 3, MF with a very slightly faster lap, but only by 0.002. As it stands, it's going to go down the wire unless there is any minor mistake made by either driver. Or it may just be a matter of who drives slightly faster at this point. Nice cuts by both of them as we head into the ramp section. This is going to be real close. I think MF may be very, very slightly ahead. .254.07. Gianni ends up with the win with the faster lap there. Much needed win for him as he ties it up on one of MF's picks. It's going to be Gianni's pick again. It's 2-2, so if he gets to if the drivers get to a 7th pick, he's going to get that pick, which is an advantage, certainly in a set like this. The anticipation. What are they going to pick here? Gianni is going back to Calamari Desert. Neither driver is really run into trouble with the train. 3, 2, 1, go. Calamari Desert has been one of the interesting tracks in recent memory. There used to be not really a whole lot of optimal shortcuts that were available on this track, and then there was the exciting fence clip that came out of Shortcut Land, and then of course the Desert Tenko, which allows you to skip the whole track. But of course this is non-shortcut, we won't be seeing any of that, but it's certainly been a track that has been going through a lot of change in recent years on the shortcut side. Both drivers are going to go ahead and cut using the mushroom to cut across the track and get closer to the train tracks. .41.06, 42.28. Gianni is up by over a second in lap 1. Looks like Gianni's coming to play when it matters most. He knows he needs to win these. He does have one fewer mushroom, but that 1 second lead is still not insignificant, even with one fewer mushroom. Gianni has 1 mushroom left. MF has 2. MF does cut slightly ahead on the lap 2. And we're going to have to see how the execution is on this remaining mushroom for Gianni. Gianni barely avoids the train. The train spot here is going to make it interesting. Both of them do safely get over. And then MF is going to cut all the way over with both mushrooms. So MF has made up quite a bit of that ground and with those 2 mushrooms, and he is going to go ahead and finish with a 2:07.29. Gianni 2:07.03. Gianni does manage to hold the lead and win the track. This is going to be his first, I believe this is his first lead in any set today. And what a time to be leading, because this is going to go a long way if he wants to make a comeback, and he is taking the necessary steps to do so. MF picking Sherbet Land. Some hops across the ice. 3, 2, 1, go. Now, as our viewers will see from before, have seen from before, Gianni had trouble with a penguin before, so he's going to have to manage his penguins on this attempt. And MF picked it. I'm sure MF picked that for that reason. See if he can take advantage of that situation again. So we'll have to see. It appears that Gianni's use of the dinosaur has made a little bit of a difference. Whatever that may be. Yoshi and Toad are equal in acceleration and speed. Along with Peach, who are the 3 fastest racers in Mario Kart 64. Yep, it is a best of 7 per set, so if Gianni wins this, he will take the set. And if MF takes the set, then he wins because it is best out of 5, and whoever gets the 3 sets first will win. We enter the second cave section. Both of them comfortably get through. It looks like MF is slightly ahead as we enter the final lap. Looks like probably by about 2 or 3 tenths of a second. Oh, and Gianni takes a dunk in the lake, and MF is off to a sizable lead after Yoshi needs time to defrost. MF safely gets past the penguins. Gianni actually almost hits another penguin. Or MF in a nice spot. MF is going to finish 157.86. Gianni's dunk in the lake ends up being the deciding factor in this one, as MF actually gets a decently solid time even normally. It looks like we are now tied 3-3. Now this is the big pick for Gianni. It's 3-3. Gianni's got to pick the track he's gonna win. Because if he loses this one, this match is over. Gianni uses a joker. Yoshi Valley fast lap. 3, 2, 1, go. They only get one go at it. It's only one lap. They're gonna go and go as fast as they can. And use all 3 mushrooms on one lap. Gonna go ahead and use the early shroom here. Try to get past the porcupines as quickly as possible. Both sides do a solid job of that. Oh, MF takes a dunk into the canyon. Gianni is off to the lead, and as long as he doesn't make any crazy mistakes, he's going to go ahead and win the set here. Oh, but he falls off. Gianni falls off at the very end. Well, so both of them make mistakes here. Interestingly enough. But Gianni does end up winning off of a fairly crazy situation that I don't think I've seen before. Looks like MF is just going to take the did not finish, as we have seen a very interesting way to break a tie in a set. Can't say anyone expected that to happen. This is what we live for. The excitement of... Wow, what happened there? Both drivers end up in the canyon, but Gianni does take the set. And what a time for him to take the set, because MF is up. So MF is going to get the pick now. I think both drivers are just taking a breather after making some perhaps uncharacteristic mistakes. MF is going to pick Wario Stadium. Yoshi Valley is the fan favorite for many reasons, and part of it is how chaotic some of these time trial runs can be. Okay, they're both ready. 3, 2, 1. Wait. MF says wait, so we're gonna... So he started a little early, so he's just waiting to get back on. Okay. So MF entered the menu early, but he's coming out, and then we're gonna go ahead and do a new countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. We're back to Wario Stadium, second longest track in the game. One of the dirt tracks. Every single cup has a dirt track. MF did want the clean sweep. He got really close. Just made a little bit of an uncharacteristic mistake for MF. He's been very consistent in this race up to until he fell on Yoshi Valley hairpin. Both of them driving solid to start. Trying to get these mini turbos on straightaways to add some speed. It's a advanced strategy to get extra speed even when it's on a straightaway. We're at the big jump as MF is very, very slightly ahead at the big jump. We are through a very long first lap. This is one of the longest tracks in the game. 128.46, 128.80. So MF is up by 0.3 of a second as we head into lap 2. This is the Division 2 finals. Division 1 only has 3 drivers, so these are the 4th and 5th best drivers in the One Try League this year. Again, solid driving for both. No one's making any clear mistakes. MF has slightly been executing better. We head into the final lap. MF gained an extra 15 hundredths of a second on lap 2. We'll see if MF can hold it to take the win on this track. Still appears to be a very slight MF lead as we head into the final, well, the second half of lap 3. Appears that MF is up by maybe about half a second, so Gianni's going to have to make up some ground here in the final stretches of Wario Stadium. MF decides to add a mini turbo, and it seemed to work out all right there. All right, here's the finish line. Let's see if MF keeps the win here. 4:26.40. Gianni, 4:27.36. So MF is up 1-0, and it was his pick. So it's going to be Gianni's pick next as the person who won the last set. Banshee Boardwalk. Gianni picking a new track for everyone. Banshee Boardwalk is also potentially a fun one, given some of the jumps. And they're both ready to get going. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Banshee Boardwalk is an interesting track for many reasons. Certainly in Grand Prix, if you use a lightning bolt in a haunted house, that can cause the bats to squash the tiny drivers. But in terms of time trials, there's certainly a kind of a somewhat diagonal section of the track that can be very interesting to do a mini turbo in, and we're going to head into that section now. And then once we get into the haunted house, besides this mushroom area being not always straightforward, this jump across this star shaped crack in the haunted house, and then trying to really get those mini turbos sharp through the rest of the haunted house in very quick fashion. (42.52, 42.67). MF is up by 15 hundredths of a second as we enter lap 2. Banshee Boardwalk also has some cuts across, there's some jumps kind of like on Sherbet Land, although maybe not as explicitly so. Both of them do a good job in landing this mushroom spot and in clearing the crack in the haunted house as we head into the final turn, which at a lower level of play can also be a useful mushroom spot. (42.22, 42.42) as MF takes a 35 hundredths of a second lead into lap 3. Both of them playing very well in areas that would be very dangerous for most drivers. Making every jump every mini turbo through the haunted house. But ultimately, it looks like MF is just a little faster, a little bit more consistent. .207.40 as Gianni actually got back a lot of ground in very subtle spots and actually came up with the win. Very excellent driving by Gianni there to take the win. Kind of snuck up on me a little bit because of how he did it. Crazy close indeed. Frappe Snowland is next, says MF. MF gets the pick. So Gianni's feeling the groove a little bit now. Had a kind of a rough start, but he picked up a set. He picked up a track here. Nice comeback. We have a match at this point. Gianni needs a second. When you have too many bonks at the wall, what kind of sponsor would you like for your Mario Kart needs? I think what you need is 1UP Mushroom Car Insurance Group, another one of our sponsors. All right, Gianni's getting ready to go. He's ready. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Back to Frappe Snowland. We've seen this track before. We'll see it again. Don't hit the snowman. Make those mushroom jumps. And avoid the snowman. Nice cuts early for both drivers. The snowmen are in a weird spot, of course, on this track, but the drivers are very familiar with where they are. They're not just going to go and run into them in all likelihood in the snowfield area. Mushroom jump for MF, mushroom jump for Gianni. They both do avoid the snowmen in the hardest to avoid snowfield area. I do hope, Pokemon, that they had insurance in Yoshi Valley, because that would have led to some expensive repairs. Gianni is up by 11 hundredths of a second heading into lap 2. Very close as we head into the snowfield area, and another one of the mushroom jumps. Landed perfectly for MF, a little awkwardly for Gianni. Gianni may have lost a little bit of time based on the awkward landing. So loss of 0.6 of a second for Gianni there. So heading into lap 3, MF at that point was up by half a second. Last mushroom jump. MF avoids any damage. Gianni didn't really gain on that jump. As Gianni is gonna not be able to catch up, MF takes the win. 2:02.27 to 2:03.32. MF is back up 2-1. And it's back to Gianni's pick. Hello, everybody. We've got an exciting match. One that initially looked like MF was going to run away with it, and then Gianni got warmed up, and so we've got a good one. DK's Jungle Parkway is next. That's Gianni's pick. They're both ready. 3, 2, 1, go. We've got another dirt track here. We haven't seen this one yet today. The tricky aspects you're going to see pretty early on this track. The big jump. Both drivers are going to try to go as far left as they can without falling. They got to make sure they make that jump. But before that, cutting as closely as they can and not getting on the grass. Let's see how far left they're going to shoot. Let's see. They both barely made it. Very good jumps by both. They both go ahead and just use one mushroom to go over the grass area. They're going to cut across the grass here again. And then they're going to go ahead, I'm sure, in getting past this bridge, they're going to try to hop up this area here and cut across where the track ain't. It looks like MF made a mistake going up as Gianni takes off to a sizable lead now. MF just went a little too far left and goes a spinning. Second far left jump. Gianni makes it perfectly. Well done by Gianni. MF also makes it perfectly. They go ahead and use a mushroom off the grassy area. Gianni off to a nice start by virtue of avoiding the mistake that MF made on lap 1. Nice hops by Gianni on the way up. MF does too, but he is quite a bit behind at this point because of the mistakes made. The mistake in lap 1. That final jump. Oh, bonk by MF. Gianni's going to take the win here. Solidly played. 3 of 3 for Gianni. MF just went a little too far to the left. He does make it this time. And the dinosaur is going to pick up another win to tie it up 2-2. Unless Gianni somehow manages to go too far left, but he's probably not going to. He's probably going to play it safely. And he does. 2:18:37 for Gianni. So both drivers are not allowed to use ghost data for this one try match. All the top drivers will end up using ghost data, and they will use it through a controller pack. And many drivers will also use a Dex drive to save their ghosts and transfer data between their controller pack and their computer. It's MF's pick again. It's 2-2. We've got exciting sets here. Sets 3 and 4. We've got MF picking Choco Mountain. You've seen Choco Mountain earlier, and both drivers didn't make any critical mistakes, so it should be another fun one. 3, 2, 1, let's go. For anyone who wants to watch anyone here, Gianni MK64, that is his Twitch name. Same with MK64MF. And there's me, Yo-Yo-Yoshi1. We do all stream Mario Kart 64 regularly. Looks like MF actually got started slightly before Gianni, which is fine, because at the end of the day, it is in-game time. Bonk for MF, bonk for MF. As he is a little bit off right now. Gianni's probably going to take a slight lead here. Meanwhile, in the chat section, we're hearing some friendly rivalry banter between contestants for Division 3 playoffs. Gianni off to a nice start by virtue of just driving consistently and is up in lap 1. MF's driving better now, but Gianni is still continuing to drive consistently. Both have one shroom left for the final lap. They're going one shroom per lap. And the beginning of the lap is usually a good spot for that, so both drivers do that. Gianni looks to be the more consistent driver on Chaco Mountain as we had further into lap 3. MF is trying to get mini turbos as quickly as possible, trying to gain back that ground that he lost earlier. But will it be enough? MF goes and finishes with a 1:59.74. It is not enough to get past Gianni, who was solid all 3 laps. Gianni's going to go ahead and pick up a 3-2 lead in this 4th set. Gianni gets the pick. If he correctly picks, he's going to go ahead and win the set. We've got some big tracks left here. Gianni had avoided elimination previously in set 3, and he's looking to capitalize in set 4. Trying to show why he is slightly higher ranked in time trials from his personal bests. Toad's Turnpike is Gianni's pick. Let's see some trucks. Let's see lots of trucks. On the turnpike, that just kind of doesn't go anywhere. They're ready? 3, 2, 1, go. So Toad's Turnpike is kind of an interesting track because it goes around in kind of an 8 figure. It's not quite an 8, but you'll see that on Gianni's screen. It's a little bit kind of an 8. A lot of left turns, but also some right turns later on. Both drivers are going to try to do straight stretch mini turbos to try to go as fast as possible, because these turns are not very 90 degree in any way. So they're just going to try to get as many mini turbos on the straightaways as they can while hugging as closely to the side as they can. I've always wondered how trucks even get on the Toad's Turnpike because there's no route in. And my theory is that Lakitu is just that damn strong. Lakitu is lifting all these trucks onto the turnpike. Both drivers are holding on to mushrooms for now. Very quick mini turbos by both drivers. 1 minute 84, 1 minute 56. Gianni is up by just under 0.3 of a second, going to lap 2. Taking really close corners here. They're gonna... Gianni and MF do go around the bus. So these trucks are on a timer, so they will be in the same spot every time at the same time. First mushroom by MF. Gianni also uses a mushroom. Both are down to one mushroom left. Nicely done by MF. He made up quite a bit of ground. They're basically tied up going into lap 3. As the music speeds up for this amazing finale on Toad's Turnpike. Just racing and get those mini turbos on straightaways as they can. Very difficult to do on a straightaway with such precision, but they're both doing very well with it. Especially through traffic here. We'll see how they do. Both of them appear to be clearing them fairly well. And MF 301.35, Gianni 301.53. And the flip of the numbers is a big difference as MF sticks around. It is another set that's going all the way to 7. MF gets the pick. We're going to the final track of the set. If MF wins, it's over 3-1. If Gianni wins, we're all tied up 2-2, and Gianni continues his miraculous comeback. Toad's Turnpike is one of the longer tracks in Mario Kart, especially on the PAL European version of the game. So certainly more of an endurance race than, say, Toad's Turnpike on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where you can kind of just fly over certain trucks. MF needs some time to think about the pick. In the meantime, while MF thinks of a pick, what do you need when you want items in a Mario Kart race? You want red shell strike equipment to give you the shells that you need for your next competition. BWG mentions that Matthias Rustemeyer is now the world champion again. I haven't checked to see what's going on over there, but Matthias Rustemeyer and Dan Burbank have been playing for the world champion title and going back and forth for years at this point. Many, many years. MF says Rainbow Road is next. So Matthias has untied Wario Stadium 3 lap. That is a changing of the guard for sure. Matthias had the world champion title for several years before Dan Burbank gave him a run for it. And then Dan took the title. 3, 2, 1. Let's go to Rainbow Road. Longest track in the game. And even longer on the PAL version and without shortcuts. So this is going to be a marathon of a race. Lots of straight stretch mini turbos. Both drivers are going to do what's called a tran here, so they don't do a big jump over and they're just kind of sliding down. This is all about consistency. You can make a mistake potentially and come back because it is such a long track. We are looking at basically 6 minutes of driving on the longest track in Mario Kart history. When they remade this track on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, they decided, hey, let's make this 1 lap instead of 3. And take out a few guardrails. So it is difficult to fall off the track normally, although in Grand Prix it is possible to get shelled off, or it's possible to fall off on the big jump. But in the meantime, we're watching just crisp driving, solid mini turboing by both drivers. This is the only Rainbow Road with a lot of guardrails. 2 minutes 12. MF 159.75 as MF does take a slight lead. As they both just try to slide down. Oh, and Gianni hits a chomp! MF takes the lead. He's in a good position now. If MF wins, he is the Division 2 champion. One thing that's interesting with ghost data in this, besides hitting the chain chomps, that kills the ghost. Another thing is just driving for a really long time with a lot of mini turbos, so you are going to expect really even MF to run out of ghost data. In a matchup between very closely ranked players, it is a matter of who drives more consistently in these one-try matches. We're going to have to see if MF can hold it. Certainly there's going to be a lot of nerves by both drivers at this point. 3-3, 2-1 in sets. I'm sure Gianni's trying to chase at this point. MF is like, can't make a mistake. MF continues to keep the lead as he avoids making any major mistakes. MF under 2 minute lap. Oh, 2:05 for Gianni. MF is clearly in the driver's seat now, as MF has more than a 5-second lead on Gianni. So far, it looks like MF is going to hold it, but we'll see if he's able to hold it through the second half of lap 3. Oh, MF nearly hits a chomp there, but he does get away from it. GG indeed, as MF loses, I mean, not loses, but MF is getting closer to getting to the point where he can't really even make any mistakes. There are no chain chomps left at the end. There's no way he can make really any major mistakes. So we're going to have MF be the Division 2 champion. Well done, MF. I believe he won every match. And at this point, Gianni decides why bother finishing. It's over. And he just goes ahead and quits out. So, but here we have it. Just going to go ahead and put some kind of random time just for the layout. But essentially, MF has won. He has advanced. And he is our winner. Division 2 champion. What a match we've got there. Incredible.
To the community.
Really exciting match. Go ahead and enjoy your Pokemon Crystal. And come back and watch some Mario Kart 64. This is Yo-Yo Yoshi 1 on Twitch. And we've got Gianni MK64 and MK64MF on Twitch. Thank you for watching. It's been a blast. We have a new division winner. And this is a wrap. Thank you, thank you. There will be more one-try time trial matches to follow. Just follow Mario Kart 64. We've got more action in other divisions that are coming up, with Division 1, Division 3, as well as Division 4. Just follow Mario Kart 64 on Twitch and be part of the action. Thanks.